It's October 31st, 1517. Martin Luther, a man on a mission, decided to challenge the very foundations of the Catholic Church by nailing what he believed on his 95 Theses to their door, literally right to their door, therefore starting what has become known as the Protestant Reformation.
Without Martin Luther, America would not exist today. His daring and ability to defy convention with the Roman Catholic Church completely reshaped the world as we know it and allowed the United States and America to become a place.
During the Protestant Reformation, there were fractures appearing in all of Christendom. There was wars ravaging the land. Social upheaval was seen everywhere. And this was causing great change. Good? Perhaps. But only time could tell. Amongst this upheaval, other holy scholars were attempting to find their own answers and seeking salvation as well from Christ. So the religious fervor of Martin Luther was not isolated. Other holy scholars took up the torch of purging the old Catholic institutions. John Calvin of Geneva was one such man.
With the Protestant Reformation, Martin Luther pretty much broke apart the idea of Christianity.
It is from Calvin's school of thought, Calvinism, that such ideas like the predestined holy elect emerge. These new teachings varied radically from the old ways of Rome.
John Calvin makes Martin Luther look like he's Jimmy Carter attempting to debate Ronald Reagan.
There was no place where Calvinism found deeper roots than on the opposite side of the English Channel. It was at this time that King Henry VIII of England made that most severe cut with the papacy.
Of course, one of the main problems with Catholicism was that people wanted to break away from it, especially King Henry VIII. There was no way that King Henry VIII was going to go to heaven. So he had to come up with his own version, especially the way he liked to ravage his own women and control his own destiny. So, by creating this Protestant sideline, he could say he was a member of the elect, eventually choosing his way and saying he was able to go to heaven because he was elected by God to do so.
So strong was Henry's desire to pass the crown on to a son that he came into direct conflict with the Pope. The result was a cataclysmic clash of wills.
Now, with true Catholicism, people must have been really upset with the Knights of the Round Table because with their crusades and trying to carry Catholicism all over the countryside, people obviously wanted to break away from this. The idea of purgatory, I mean, come on, give me a break. People are going to stay in limbo for the rest of eternity, like that's really going to happen. Let's make the decision right away. I'm going to hell or I'm not going to hell. I mean, what's it going to be?
With mainland Europe already entrenched in the bloody Protestant Revolution, England's decision was crucial to the future of Europe and the Roman Catholic Church. Henry chose to cut his ties with the Pope.
England was a bit of a wild card in Europe at this time. Their decision on whether to remain with the Catholic Church or convert to a new form of Christianity really would be pivotal for the direction Europe would take.
Henry VIII naively assumed that he could simply change the name of the church and the people would continue living as they always had. How wrong he was.
What Henry VIII really did was more important to English history than he would have ever dreamed. He planted the initial seeds of religious unrest that would just rock England for centuries.
Henry VIII made the Reformation a possibility for the poor and peasant classes around England at the time.
The citizens of England were ready for a time of change, with the population exploding and the scientific revolution making incredible progress. Soon, noteworthy public figures were aligning themselves with a new ideal: Puritanism.
Puritanism was this interesting evolution that came from Calvinism and Anglicanism. They were still loyal to the Church of England, yet they burned to make it more Calvinist.
With unrest burning in England, it's no wonder that the English Civil War erupted in a brutal conflict between king and parliament, as Oliver Cromwell and King Charles I battled each other for supremacy of parliament and the throne.
The English Civil War pitted Parliament against King Charles I in an intense battle over basically the fate of democracy for all time.
However, while native England was engrossed in a bloody civil war and unrest, a new colony was blossoming on the northern shores of the New World.
Well, England was gearing up for bloody conflict. Some far-seeing Puritans were seeing coming turmoil.
Securing funding and forming the Massachusetts Bay Company in 1628, 20,000 strongly Puritan settlers embarked on a well-funded, well-prepared expedition to settle the Massachusetts Bay.
The forming of the Massachusetts Bay Colony was one of the cleverest business ventures ever known in American history. Instead of trying to fight their own religious wars at home, the Puritans decided to kind of form their own company and sail across the Atlantic to kind of create their own society, yet still claim the benefits of being a part of the English Empire.
From Martin Luther's 95 Theses to the bloody fields of the English Civil War, the genesis of the Puritan ideology is one that is rooted in the turmoils of Europe and the nation-moving Protestant Reformation. Foreseeing the worsening conflicts and adhering strongly to the teachings of John Calvin, the Massachusetts Bay Colony was an exodus of the Puritan way of thought, and one that would come to be the foundation of America.